Today, on episode 1 of the LBV podcast, we have former Dunfermline, Raith Rovers, Ross County, Airdrie and current Partick Thistle winger Joe CARDLE. Joe is a well-known figure in Scottish football and is particularly known for his two spells at Dunfermline. Here are some of his career highlights. Hello and welcome to the first episode of the LBV podcast. I'm delighted to say we have professional footballer Joe CARDLE on. How are you doing, Joe?
How are you doing, Logan? Good to finally meet you over. Yes, it feels strange doing the interview over this, but obviously looking forward to speaking to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing great. For those of you that don't know Joe, Joe has made 341 appearances in his career and has scored 73 goals for teams such as Dunfermline, Raith Rovers and Partick Thistle. First of all, Joe, how have you been dealing with lockdown?
Pretty well, to be fair. Obviously, I've got two little daughters, so kind of just been looking after them, and it's been great. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, missing football massively, but to be able to get to spend time with my family 24/7 for the last 3.5 months has been fantastic. Especially when the weather's good, it's been brilliant. We're at the back and we've been doing a lot of walking and everything else. So yeah, that side of things has been fantastic. But obviously, the football side of things is just still the situation I'm in. There's still no answers of what date we're going to be back or when we're going to be back training. So it's that side of things been difficult, to be honest. But I'm just you've caught me just now. I'm just in from a run, so I've basically been just running every day, just trying to keep as fit as possible and just basically waiting for that phone call when it hopefully comes soon.
Right, so we'll move on to your career. What are your first memories of playing football?
To be fair, my daughter asked me that today. She was like, "What did you do when you were a 6-year-old?" She's 6, my oldest. And all I remember was just how I didn't play with toys as a kid. It was just football. I was football daft as a kid, and that's all I used to do. I had the ball by my feet at all times, and any opportunity I could do, I was out in the car park in front of my house, and that's all I knew growing up. You know what I mean? I went to school, and as soon as I finished school, I was down the park with the boys just playing. And I was lucky enough at the age of 6, I signed my first not professional deal, but contract with Burnley. Yeah. I was at Burnley School of Excellence from 6-year-old, which is pretty early if you think about that now, till I was 16. So I was at Burnley Football Club for 10 years, which put me in great stead, which was amazing. It was a great experience being at a great football club like that. And then when I decided to leave Burnley, I fell out with. Obviously, I was only a young boy. I was only 16, and yeah. I was still very small at the time. I hadn't fully developed, and a lot of the boys in my team had kind of got a lot bigger than me, and I was just getting pushed about, and really got to a point where I wasn't really enjoying the football side of things, just because I was nowhere near the level of these boys. They were like grown boys, and I was still a lot smaller, and never had that physical presence. So it got to a point where I wasn't going to be getting a YTS contract after school, and then I got the chance to go to Port Vale. So I signed a contract at Port Vale, YTS contract, which was amazing. It's like proper professional, full-time football. So I was 16 when I left school, and managed to become a YTS, which was amazing. And I signed a 3-year YTS there. And and then I signed my first professional contract at 18, which was unbelievable. And then obviously that season I went on to make my debut and kind of never really looked back from there.
Yeah. Was there anyone at Port Vale or Burnley that really helped influence your career in a positive way?
Oh, definitely. At Burnley, there was a coach called Dean Ramsdale who was there for about 4 or 5 years, of that then 10 years, and I think as a player, technical side of things, I think he's seen a lot from me because I was obviously little, played out wide or the number 10 role. He worked on that side of my game, my short game, and helped me move my feet quicker, and I think that benefited me in the long run. And then Port Vale, it was a man called Marty. He was the youth team manager at the time. And then he managed to get the first job and gave him my first professional contract, and he gave him my debut as well. So I've got a lot to thank Martin Foyle for as well, for kind of getting me into the professional game. And I still speak to him to this day, yeah.
Who was the player you looked up to when you were growing up?
Do you mean like in the team I was playing in, or do you mean like
world football?
Well, obviously, growing up, I was a Celtic supporter. My dad was a big Celtic supporter. So growing up, for me, I used to watch Jimmy Johnson. I don't know if you know Jimmy Johnson. He was back in the 1967 team, and I used to watch videos upon videos of Jimmy Johnson, just the way he played, jinking in and out of players, and that's how I kind of looked at working on my game. And he used to train outside his house, and in between milk bottles, and I've done it all, to be fair, as a kid. And then growing up, it was more Eric Cantona was, on the posters on my wall I used to love watching him as a kid. And then going further on, it was massive, the player in Scotland and Celtic was phenomenal. And then broadened my eyes, and when I started watching Ronaldinho, and I still to this day, I still watch his video clips. The guy was I have arguments with players, like obviously boys obviously appreciate what Messi and Ronaldo can do, but I think when Ronaldinho was at his peak, there's no one that could lace his boots.
Wow. So you said you began your professional career at Port Vale. How did it feel making your professional debut for them?
Yeah, it was special. It's something that as I said, ever since I was being able to kick a ball, that's all I wanted to do. So to be given that opportunity at 18 to go out and play in front of thousands of people was incredible. It was my debut was against Scunthorpe. I've got my jersey in my garage just now, and I still look back on it. It was an amazing time, and obviously just breaking through at that age was especially that age, and it was just something I thrived upon and loved it, and as I said, never really looked back on.
Yeah. So you got a loan move to Clyde in Scotland. You stayed there until the Christmas period. How did that move to Scotland come about?
Well, it was a family friend. It's a funny story. It's Colin Hendry was the manager at the time at Clyde. He lived in the area which I live, and he was close with mum and dad. And he used to come and watch me. He came and watched a couple of reserve games when I was at Port Vale. Obviously, I wasn't playing regular first team football, so I was kind of on the bench on a Saturday playing reserve games, maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And Colin came and watched us a couple of games. I think it was against Leeds one game and Sheffield Wednesday another game. And to be fair, I had a couple of good games. And he just got the job at Clyde. And the opportunity came that, he was desperate to get me. Wherever he got the job, he was desperate to get me in. And he spoke to Martin Foyle at the time, and I thought it would have been, it was only, I think it was a loan deal. And it was just to give me some experience because I wasn't playing much first team football at the time. I know I was on the bench loving. It was just giving me an opportunity to play every week and get some minutes under my belt, which was great. And then I managed to go back in I think it was in January. Yeah, I managed to go back, and by that time, the manager Martin Foyle had been sacked, and a new manager came in. Right. But even still, the new manager set up to give a few games, but unfortunately, summer he kind of brought in all his own players from like non-league big boys, no really technical players, and that's when I had to look going elsewhere.
Should we talk about your debut for Clyde against Dundee?
No, let's pass by that one. Actually, I was talking to one of the boys about that recently, because I've been as a winger, you don't expect to be getting sent off as many times as I have. So so that was my first 26 minutes, something like that. It could have been less. Yeah, you've probably got stats there. So first game in Scotland, really excited. Dundee at home for Clyde, and I think I got booked for diving in the first 10 minutes of the game. I think I was a wee bit excited. So I went down in the box. Definitely was at a dive, by the way. And then I think about 10 minutes later in the game, it wasn't even a bad tackle. The ball was in the air, it kind of went over my head, and I caught the boy middle of the pitch, and the referees gave me a second yellow. So yeah, 26 minutes into my Scottish debut, that was it. I was walking up the tunnel. So yeah, it wasn't a good start, but I'd like to think I've made up for that.
So then you moved to Airdrie after going back down to Port Vale. And at Airdrie, you won your first of the Challenge Cups. How special was winning your first professional trophy?
Yeah, it was great. It was, I was only at Airdrie. I was only signed a 1-year contract at Airdrie, and it was a case for me where I was out of contract at Port Vale, and I never really had anything down south because I hadn't played a lot of football. And it was an opportunity to come up to try and have a look round the area. Even though I had a few things that I could have maybe went on trial down south, but they were back pretty early, Airdrie. So I managed to go up, done a couple of sessions, and they'd offered me the deal there and then. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to come up, play football, play games week in, week out, and I thrived upon that. And I think that was the maker of me as a player, to be honest, because I think coming up here away from home, away from, all the distractions of living at home with your friends and, going out weekends, stuff like that. I thought I came up here and just concentrated on the football side of things, and I managed to, score a few goals and play well. And obviously signed a pre-contract for Dunfermline and managed to go in January. But I think obviously the Challenge Cup could have been November sort of time.
Yeah.
And we had a good run in that, and I done well in the final, got man of the match, and it was just, as I said, just a great experience to be playing week in, week out, and doing well for a team.
How did your move to Dunfermline come about after your good spell at Airdrie?
Yeah, I actually remember the game well. It was a game at East End Park, and it was me and Stephen McDougall. I don't know if you remember with Dunfermline. We were both on the wings, and we both had a really good game. That we got a lot of the ball and we tormented the fullbacks on the day. I think I was up against Nip at the time, and yeah, I don't think he's slept well since. So yeah, we both had really good games, and then I think it was on the Monday I got a phone call from my agent. Oh no, we're there.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
You good? Yeah. Can you hear me? Don't know if that's gone off. Yeah. And yeah, my agent called me on the Monday morning. Jim McIntyre had been on the phone asking about me, and there'd been another couple of clubs on the phone as well. And this was like December sort of time, I think. Yeah. And yeah, and I went and met Jim McIntyre. This was kind of behind Airdrie's back at the time, which was pretty poor for me, but I didn't know any better. And the chance of going to Dunfermline after playing against them and coming to East End Park and seeing how big the club was and the fan base that they had, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to go and meet him and sit down. And I think in the space of half an hour, we managed to agree a deal. And it was a pre-contract. But after the ongoings at Airdrie, I managed to go and start training as of January. And obviously I couldn't play till the next season, but I was just desperate to get started for Dunfermline.
How was it playing and training under Jim McIntyre?
It was great. We got on really well, to be fair. He was a great coach for me. I think he developed my game even more. Obviously, I was playing either left. It was him that kind of knuckled down my place on the left hand side. He liked the way I cut in and put crosses in on my right foot. And he kind of worked on my game as well, which is good. I think I was when I first signed for Dunfermline, 22, 23. And I think at that point I still needed coached on how to, to play that position. And I think he helped me with that. And I managed to do pretty well under him. The first year, I think I scored 10. And I think a good few assists as well. We were just obviously gutted that we never really, managed to win the league that season. That was the aim. And then obviously we went on and do it the season after, which was probably one of my favourite seasons of my career so far.
One of the memories from your first season at Dunfermline was the hat-trick at Firhill. What a day that was.
Yeah, obviously that was my first season, so yeah, it was a case where I wasn't playing as regular as I'd like to, because we had great wingers. We had the likes of obviously myself, we had David Graham, we had Willie Gibson, we had boys like Nicky Fenn and boys that could play in them positions as well, Steve McDougall. So it was, I wasn't playing week in, week out. Don't get me wrong, I was still playing a lot of football, but I wasn't, I wasn't in every week. So that game in particular, I was started on the bench. And it was a 0-0. It was just one of those games where nothing really was going on either side. And I remember McIntyre put me on at half time. He said someone needs to be the catalyst and obviously change this game. And I think in the space of 10 minutes, I came on and managed to get my first goal.
Yeah.
And then I think it was in 20 minutes I managed to get a hat trick. So it was a special day, and that was the first hat trick in my career. So it's one I'll always remember, definitely.
Stunning goals as well to follow.
I like to bring them up when obviously I'm at Thistle, and just so it's nice to, I think a few of the fans in that trying to give me a dokey sometimes, so always trying to remind them of that day, because it was a special a hat trick to score in the second half. Obviously coming out at half time is pretty special.
Yeah. Your second season at Dunfermline was, as you mentioned, an extremely memorable one, with the Dunfermline lifting the first division title. That's probably one of your career highlights, as you said. What are your best memories from that season?
I think just like the team that we had. I think just week in, week out, I just like the boys, the changing room, the gate. Like I just, obviously Rafe Rovers, it was they ran us to the very end, and with their team, they were still part. I think they were still part time at the time, and they were a strong team. Top of the table for the majority of the season. I think we brought in some good players in January. Obviously, we brought Hardy and Dinky and Ruskovic, boys like that. They kind of just finished the season off strongly for us, and it was just an enjoyable whole experience. Obviously, I was still young in my career, and it was just, the way it finished. Obviously, the Rafe Rovers game at the very end of the season, Hardy's just everyone seems to remember that. But even when we go back, I think 3-4 weeks before that, when we were up at Ross County, and it was last put in a free kick to Hardy, and I think that was the night where we really thought we were going to go on and win it. And then you talk about CARDLE, and that day it was just it was just a special season all round. And I still think about it. I've still got the book. I've still got all the memorabilia I was going through recently in my garage, and just some real top players in that change room. Just great guys, and we all went away at the end of the season to Magaluf, and just everyone was there, from the kit man to the manager, assistant. It was just a nice, a good group of boys, and we all got on well, and obviously it showed on the pitch.
Was winning the league always the aim from Jim McIntyre at the start of each season?
Definitely. I think even with Dunfermline now, to be playing in the Championship just goes, Dunfermline should be one of the top teams in Scotland. I think everyone knows that. It's been a sleeping giant for so long, and I think that's that's the reason why I wanted to sign for the club in the first place, because Dunfermline is such a big club. And I've got to know that even more now. I live in the town, and you kind of get that, that pressure each season. And the first season we were disappointed the way it went. I think we finished third in the end. Even though what's that?
There wasn't any playoffs that year, was there?
No, there was no playoffs. No, I think it was third. It could have third or fourth, and we were just disappointed because we had a strong team that first season as well. And then obviously, the pressure. But that goes hand in hand, and when you're playing for a big club, the pressure should be there. And I think that certain individuals thrive on that, and I think I was one of them. I think we had that season when we won it, we had a good, strong mentality, and we managed to do the business.
Obviously, we got promotion to the Premiership after that. Obviously, it's quite a disappointing season for the team as a whole. But on a personal basis for you, you bagged yourself 8 goals, including a memorable moment for you at Ibrox. What do you think of that season?
Yeah, like when you talk about it now, like we got relegated that first season, like that's talking about it just looks terrible.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing experience. So that's what I came up to Scotland to do, to be playing in the SPL and to be playing all against all the big players, Celtic and Rangers, and all the big stadiums. And that's what I was thriving on, because I played regular that season. I kind of solidated my spot on the left-hand side, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong, we never won enough games, especially at home. That's what kind of let us down. Um, I remember I think our first home win was, it must
Aberdeen.
have been, yeah, Aberdeen,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Aberdeen, yeah. I don't know when it was. I don't know what month it was.
I think it was late in the season. I think because we
Yeah,
won
it was
been in.
on. Yeah, so it was just, that's what kind of let us down. There was just so many mistakes that season. We scored a few own goals and just clangers, just decision making was just poor. Um, but as you said, like, fortunate for me, I was, I had a good season, but how good a season can you have when you get relegated? It just doesn't look good. But as I said, I really enjoyed it. Scoring at Ibrox obviously stands out, but we had a strong team, but just too many silly decisions on the pitch. It cost us massively, and it was just disappointing after all the highs of the season before to be able to, for us to go down the season after was just, yeah, it was not nice, not nice the way to finish it.
During that season, Jim Jeffries came in as manager. How did you get on with Jim, and did his experience in management help the lads through the tough times that would follow in the coming months?
Yeah, Jim was great. Another manager that, with the experience he had, he was brilliant. He looked after me as well. His man management was unbelievable. I think that's what stands out. The way he knew how to work certain individuals. He was great with me personally. Um, he kind of took a back step with the coaching side of things. But I think when it came to a Saturday, he knew what to say and when to say it. He had it all down to a T, and I think that's where it worked. His experience kind of just says it all, really, what he's done in the game. But yeah, that summer I was obviously frustrated because obviously I wanted to stay in the SPL. I was disappointed the way it went, and there was a few teams that were still about at the time. But it was just unfortunate. I had another year in my deal at Dunfermline. Aberdeen, Dundee United were kind of trying to negotiate a deal, and it fell through.
Yeah.
And it was a summer for me where, I was on holiday and I was frustrated because obviously I wanted to keep it. I wanted to stay at Dunfermline, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but when teams like Aberdeen and Dundee United are trying to get in touch and they couldn't agree a deal, it was just frustrating for me because I wanted to kick on. Obviously scored a few goals and I wanted to kick my career on, but it was just the way it was meant to be, and unfortunate enough, to go down, and then for what the circumstances, for what happened 4 or 5 months later, just, yeah, it was very disappointing, to be honest.
So obviously you said about relegation, and then Dunfermline going into the next season were favourites, or one of the favourites to win the first division and go straight back
Yeah,
up. When
yeah,
did the things
it's.
start to begin that something wasn't right within the club?
We started the season flying. I
Yeah.
remember the football was brilliant as well. Jeffries had us playing a certain way, and it was working. We were very fit. I remember the pre-season was very difficult, and the boys came back in great shape. And I just remember at the start of the season, one game sticks out. We were playing Livingston at home, and I think it was like 4-5-0 that day, and we were brilliant. And I just remember thinking, we're just cross league. It's it was a case where I just thought. And then it got to I think it was around October, November, late October, and then we had a meeting after training. It was just we were getting a deduction in our wage because of the income was low, and you start questioning what's going on, really. I've already took a big pay cut with going down in the league, obviously from Premiership to the Championship. So when they start saying pay cuts, you're like, God, here we go. So yeah, that's that from October, and then it carried on to November, and then it was a bigger cut in November, and then December. Was it January? Yeah. No, I think it was later on. I think it was starting November, and I just remember November, December, January, February, and it was just going lower and lower each month, and it got to a point where boys we were scunnered, and we were obviously losing games at this point. And then I remember going in one morning, and boys couldn't even afford to get through from Glasgow. There was boys on the phone saying we can't afford to pay petrol, and there was days where, because no one really knew what was going. The chairman at the time wouldn't even come down and speak to us, and it was just so frustrating. Obviously we wanted to play on a Saturday, and I remember the Partick Thistle game at home on a Saturday, and it came to the Friday, and I think we'd only been paid 50% of our wages that month, so it was buttons. The boys were coming out absolutely nothing, and we kind of stood our ground on the Friday, and then they managed to put some more money in our accounts. It was just a horrible, horrible dark time, like for everyone. My missus was pregnant with our firstborn as well, so all that going on at the same time, you know. And I just bought this house, and yeah, it was horrible. It was just and for the way it ended was just even worse. To get pulled in a room and your name to just get called out like that's you on your way. You're like, oh my god. You know what I mean, I've been here. I think I'd been at Dunfermline 5 years at that time, and just to get your name called out on a piece of paper and that's you up the road, you're like, oh my god. And I just remember coming home in floods of tears, like. And I still say to this, the darkest day of my football career, like I'll never forget it. It was how
So would you say the financial
to make it even worse. That was a Thursday, and then we got a call on the Friday to tell us you've got till Sunday to find a team, or else you can't play until the end of the season. So, and at the time, my agents basically just ringing around teams to see if anyone could sign me for the last 2 months of the season, which was horrific. It was just, not nice for anyone to be involved in. It was just, tough times, horrific.
So after the administration, you went on to sign for Raith Rovers, where you were given a contract at the end of the season, then another year deal after in the summer. You had many fond memories in the 13 months you were there, particularly both coming to Easter Road. The first one being in the Cup against Hibs, where you and the boys won 3-2. Would you say this was up there with one of your best memories in the Scottish Cup?
Yeah, definitely. It was that was another change room that will always be remembered for me, because it was just, obviously with Raith Rovers, we weren't expected to do much, but changing room wise, probably the best I've played in. It was a fantastic time. I'd say like the likes of the Hibs games, like we're not expected to go to Easter Road and pick up anything, and it was the team ethic that got us through that day. It was just a good change room, some good characters, and personally, it was a case for me because the season previously I wasn't playing as much as I like to have at Dunfermline. I was playing week in week out again at Raith Rovers, and really enjoying it. The manager Grant Murray at the time was brilliant with me, and Laurie Ellis was helping out, and the training rate. And then, you know what I mean, we started the season really well as well. Another season where I think by like October we were kind of up the top. Really enjoyed. It was just a good crowd, and obviously the Scottish Cup run was good. And then I think we lost was it St Johnstone, I think, in the quarters maybe.
Yeah, you scored the
I scored a good goal that day. It didn't count for them, but it was one of the better goals of my career. And obviously St Johnstone win it that season. Yeah. But and obviously the Challenge Cup as well with the Rangers in the final was just magical. That was something I've dreamed about since I was a wee boy, to be playing in a cup final against Rangers and going on to win it in extra time was special day.
So you mentioned the Challenge Cup final there against Rangers, where John Baird scored 1-0 in extra time. Talk us through that game and the celebrations that followed.
Oh, it was incredible. It was obviously another game with, even though Rangers were in the league below us and were League One at the time, they still had a strong team. They still had some big players in that team. So we were the underdogs going into the game, but we believed that, with the team that we got, I think the run that we had in the Challenge Cup as well, we like pummel teams. We were like beating teams 4-5-0, and we had a game plan, and it was just to frustrate Rangers because, as I said, they had some good players that could score goals, and I think the longer the game went on and we managed to keep it 0-0, there's always going to be an opportunity. And I think I was off the pitch at the time. It went to extra time. I think I came off in the first half of extra time, and then Bairdy goes on to score the goal, I think, with 5 minutes to go. And as you can imagine, to score late on in a game like that, I was cramping up, to be fair. I think I put in a good shift that day. I was up and down, and I was doing a lot of defending that side of things. I was kind of playing wing back on the day, so I think by the time extra time came and I was thinking about penalties, I was just cramping up. Get me off that bit. I'm not a big fan of taking penalties, you see. I think Greg Spence managed to get through, ride a couple of tackles, and it fell to Bairdy perfectly. And he's put it in the back of the net. So you can imagine just the celebrations were incredible. The club, to be fair, put on a great night. We ended up back at I don't know the place in Kirkcaldy. Upstairs in Kirkcaldy, we had
Yeah.
all the punters were downstairs, and then we were upstairs, and it was a free bar, and we all had a hotel. That side of things, it was, as I said, the changing was great. Everyone was there, everyone make it, and it was just, we partied till the early hours. It was brilliant. It was definitely one to remember.
So after your successful season at Raith Rovers, you moved back to the Premiership with Ross County. Was it always something you wanted to do, is jump back up to the Premiership?
Definitely. I think after the season with Dunfermline, obviously getting relegated, I was frustrated that I never stayed in the league. Obviously, I had to back step going to Raith Rovers. I think I proved everyone that that I was capable to go back into the SPL, the Premier League at the time. And there was a few clubs sniffing about. And yeah, the offer that I got from Ross County at the time, I wasn't too keen on moving up to the Highlands. With so I had my daughter at this point. We were kind of settled in Dunfermline at the time, but the offer that they gave me, the contract they gave me, I couldn't really turn it down. So yeah, we decided to move up there, and don't get me wrong, we had a lovely year up there. My missus loved it. She loved being up there, and it was nice for everyone. But I wasn't playing regular enough for me to stay up for another year. But definitely enjoyed it. Enjoyed the whole experience. But it was just football side of things was frustrating because I was on the bench a lot, coming on last 5-10 minutes of games, and it was a season where we just managed to stay up. Thankfully, I think it went down to the last couple of weeks of the season, and but yeah, it was a good experience. Jim McIntyre came back when I was there. It was Derek McInnes that signed, Derek Adams that signed me, and McIntyre came in. And even though I'd played regular for him at Dunfermline and was a big player for him, I never really was that player at Ross County, and never managed to play as much as I'd like to. So, and then the opportunity to go back to the Pars came up, so I couldn't turn it down, even though it was League One.
So you say you made your long-awaited return to Dunfermline, but this time in different circumstances in League One under Alan Johnston. How did the move back to Dunfermline come about, and did you always want to come back to the club after leaving in 2013?
Obviously, I was playing in the Premiership at the time, and it told me, and it was always a case for if the opportunity came. Don't get me wrong, I thought playing in League One straight from the Premiership was like a bit of a, it was a bit of a drop. But managed to, spoke to Potsy all the time. I played with him, and he coached me as well in his later years. And it was kind of him that was pushing for it. Alan Johnson, I don't think knew who I was, to be honest. Potsy kind of kept on his case. And I was on holiday. I was in Marbella with the boys, and Alan Johnson called me, and he basically just invited me in for a trial. It wasn't a case where they wanted me back, and I was like, "Really? You're actually coming on trial from Ross County to Dunfermline?" So, because of the situation, my love for the club, I thought it was only right to come back. So I trained a few sessions. Obviously, showed them what I can do, and even still at that point, he was still not fun. He made me go and play in a bounce game with, I was playing with youth team players at Berwick. We played at Berwick on a Tuesday night, and I just remember that night I was travelling in a 7-seater team bus. I was like, Jesus Christ, what's happening here? It was only the only first team player was Fasil El Baktoué, and that was the season he went on to go and tear it up. So it was me and Facey. Obviously, I knew Facey from when I was there previously. So we're travelling down to Berwick on a Tuesday night, and I'm like, what's going on here? What's happened? And then, even from that, you can tell I don't think he wanted to sign me. I think it was just because of Potsy pushing it, and the fans obviously getting note that I was in training, kind of, managed to put a bit of pressure on Alan Johnson getting the deal done. So I'm glad it actually went through, because it was an incredible time to come back to the club. Having it that season again, another special season that I'll always remember.
I think I remember you playing in a trial game against East Fife, and then
I think that was the Saturday after the Berwick game. Even then, even still, I think I came on at half time. I think I scored, and even still, then there's a contract there for you. So I was like, Jesus Christ, what do I have to do? So yeah, that was it. There was a nice 5 game. I remember that as well.
So you obviously got your contract, and then that season that followed was just incredible.
Yeah, special football.
The many wins, the many wins from that season, but including the one against Dundee, the 5-1 and 7-1 versus Cowdenbeath, several wins away at Ayr, but the one that stands out to me personally is the one at Brecon at home to clinch the league title. How important was that day for you personally and for your teammates?
I was in the stands. With you that day. No, I was suspended that day. Obviously, not thinking that we were going to win the league that day. I think they dropped points. Cowdenbeath. No
one thought that Cowdenbeath, but somehow
not a chance. Yeah, not a chance. So it was I was in the stand that day, and I remember, like, obviously I played all season, and my pal Callum Woods, an old Dunfermline player, was up with his family, so we were sitting in the stand that day watching it. And I just remember that's when, because I think I'd scored 2 hat-tricks that season. And obviously Facey went on and scored 30 goals, but he'd never scored a hat-trick. And I was on his case every week. I was like, I've got 2 balls in the house and you've not got one. So every week I was putting pressure on him to get a hat-trick. And I think when it finally came that day, and obviously went and scored the bicycle kick for the 3rd goal, unbelievable. So yeah, I was so happy. Like, we managed to do it on that. Don't get me disappointed that I wasn't on the pitch at the time, but it was another change room that was fantastic. We were all so close. But when you talk about the games, when you say like the Dundee game, that definitely stands out. In the Ayr games, there was obviously one that I got sent off in. We were on a Christmas do that weekend, and we were flying to Dublin from Glasgow, and obviously getting sent off. I think it was only like 20 minutes ago, and Hoppy came on and obviously got the goal. That was a massive win that day. And then when you're talking about Ayr, like Facey's overhead kick was incredible. Yeah, he was just untouchable. Even in training, like when I said, I don't think he's reached the heights of what he'd done that season and ever since. But I just, like, the guy was just the best I've played with. Like, I've played with some good players, but that season, just everything, like every day, was just so consistent. Like, everything he touched was going in the back of the net, top corners. It was just incredible. It was a joy to play with, and a great little boy as well.
So promotion to the Championship followed after that, and a respectful 5th place finish for the first season for you and the boys. And then the season following that was probably the best football I've seen you play in a Dunfermline strip. Multiple goals, fall kicking by Dumbarton.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Yeah, best football in my career. It was a 5-6 weeks where I felt untouchable. I felt like unplayable. No one could get near me. I think you have periods in your career where you're just peaking. And I felt, for me personally, that's when I peaked. It was just like everything I touched, I just felt so fit. I came back pre-season because I was in and out the team. I feel like I'm in and out of the team quite a lot. But I was in and out of the team the season previous to that, and I had a few run-ins with Alan John, to be honest, and I don't think he really wanted to hum me back. But I was in contract, I had another year. So I had a point to prove, and I felt like that summer I smashed it. Even on holiday, I was training twice a day. I was in Dubai. I was up 6 a.m. training at night before I went to bed, and I felt like I had a prove. And came back pre-season, I just remember, like, the first day out, ran the bleep test, and I raised a few eyebrows, and I think from that pre-season onwards just put me in good stead to show everyone, what I can actually do. And yeah, when you talk about the likes of them games that month, and obviously I picked up Player of the Month and the Hearts game as well. Just days like that you remember forever, and it was obviously a special season. I done an interview recently with Pars TV, and a season where I think we should have definitely went on to win the league. Even though someone were a strong team, but I think if we carried on the consistency we had at the start of the season, we should have walked it, to be fair. And my hamstring injury that season kind of jeopardised everything really for me, and I think the team as well, because I think I was a big player in the team that season. And I think when I'd done my hammy, we kind of just fell off a wee bit, and I never really hit the peak, the heights of what I'd done previously.
So you mentioned you got the Player of the Month, and then the St Mirren game followed that, and you obviously got your injury. How devastating was that for you after such a good start to the season?
Yeah, brutal. It was the first real injury in my career. touch wood, I've never really had any real bad injuries. And the day I done it, it was just like, I couldn't walk for days. It was horrific pain. And I just thinking, as I said, like I've never played that well in my whole career, and for this to happen at that point was just so frustrating. And as I said, like I never really got, even though I came back and managed to still score a few goals and do all right, I never really managed to get back to that level. And it was frustrating because we were flying with a strong team. Like if you look at the players, I was speaking to Cal Morris about it recently as well. Like, it had him and Nicky Clark, and I mean we had good Wade men, we big Beard, and I mean Sean Murdoch was flying at the time as well. I think we had the catalyst, a team that should definitely have gone to win that league, and that was a frustrating part, to be honest.
So after winning, or after getting an injury, you were in and out the team for the rest of the season, and then Dunfermline made the playoffs that year, which eventually led to defeat against Dundee United. How bad was that for the boys? And it must have been the dressing room.
It was brutal. It was brutal because I think going into the playoffs, we were very confident. We felt that we're going to do this. You know what I mean? We were building up momentum, and I felt that we were playing teams off the pitch. We had obviously the likes of Higgy was flying at the time. Boys like Dave McManus were scoring goals. So I was so confident going into the playoffs. It's the first time I've been in the playoffs, and I just thought we're going to cruise it. And when you talk back in the game, I think we had the chance first finish the game off. I think it was Decky that managed to go through, never put it in, and then they go and obviously I was on the bench at the time, so I'm running up, warming up as much as I can to try and get on the pitch, and I think he put me on 5 minutes to go. The game was done, even though I think I touched the ball once. He put big John Novito on up front with half an hour to go instead of me. So you can imagine how I felt. I was warming up in front of the Dunfermline, and so you can imagine what I was hearing and how I felt. It was brutal. So it was a hard way to go out, and obviously that was my last game in a Pars jersey. So I never really got a chance to say goodbye to the fans ever since that game. So it was a hard way. It was a difficult way to finish up. It was a horrible summer as well, because I thought I'd end up signing again and getting the opportunity to do it again. And I was kind of I never left in good terms, put it that way. It was a frustrating summer, to be honest.
I always thought that if we had beat Dundee United in that game, we would have got promoted. I think
100%. Because I think obviously Livingston, even though they were good, and obviously they played the United off the pitch and then playoffs, I just think with the team that we had, no one would have beat us, and it was just the way it happened. They scored a scrappy goal, and just with the team that we had, we should have won that. We should have won the league outright, to be honest.
As you said, you departed the club after the playoffs. Was there a new deal on the table, or were you just not in AJ's plans for the next season?
Nah, there was nothing on the table. He looked at late. He spoke to me all summer, so I came in back. I'm going to just go. I'll be going back pre-season. There'll be something there, and it went on and on and on. And he didn't ring me till the week before pre-season, just to tell me there was. To be fair, the first thing he rung, he said there was nothing. No, he said he hadn't made his mind up, even though I'd played for him for 2 years and he had all summer to think about it. He still hadn't made his mind up, and I just thought that's a coward's way to go about it. And then so I was kind of looking at where to go, and then obviously the Fayol thing came up. It's a club that my hometown where I'm from, and I've always looked to maybe go back and finish my career off there, and the opportunity came, and I decided to take it. Even though my missus wasn't too happy about everything moving down there, I decided to sign a contract, and it was a great contract at the time. And I was only down there 4 or 5 months before I made the decision to come back up. I was travelling back and forth, and obviously not being with my family as much, and it just took its toll. I was up at 5 a.m. to drive down for training, and not seeing my daughters every day was just kind of killing me. So even though it was a great club. They had a new training ground, new stadium, and the facilities were unbelievable.
Did you always want to play in England again?
Yeah, we always did. obviously I didn't. Conference was a kind of one where I thought I was dropping down pretty low, but it was a club that were just willing to win the league, and we were up there. We were obviously they managed to hit the playoffs that season. But we were top of the league for the majority of the time I was there, and I was playing some great football, and I felt great as well. Scored a few goals, and I think I had 10 assists by November before I left. So it was, it was a decision that I didn't take lightly, but it was only right for my family. I had to come back up and be with them and find something up here. And I was fortunate enough the day that I managed to come back up, I got a phone call from Gary Caldwell and invited me to go in there. So I was kind of lucky that way.
So you returned to Scotland with Partick Thistle. How was it playing under Gary Caldwell?
Brilliant. Hands down the best manager I've played for. And I think a lot of people are surprised at that. Even you raising your eyebrows there. He's obviously, it's frustrating because I don't think he had enough time. I know we weren't picking up the results at the start of the season. But as a coach, unbelievable. His coaching skills were incredible, and I felt like even though I was 32, I'm 33 now, I felt like I've learnt so much of the game playing under him. And it was just great to be back up here, obviously playing in the Championship again. And even though there was only half of the season left, the club were down the bottom when I first came, and we managed to pick up some great results as of January. And I love playing for him, to be honest. It was great, and I still speak to him this day. He's on the phone quite a lot, and he's helped me massively with my football, even at my age.
Yeah. So then Ian McCall came in this season.
Yeah.
How much of an impact has he made for the boys?
He's been good. Obviously, McCall's he's been there and done it. He's got a lot of success wherever he's been, and obviously knows me as a player, as I've played against him so many times before. So I've really enjoyed his training. It's just back to basics compared to what Gary Caldwell was doing. It was more coaching every day, trying to develop players. So it was just back to boxes and games every day, which is obviously great. I love it as a player because you're just doing what you enjoy. And obviously him being a wide man as well, I think benefits me. And he's kind of when I have played, he's kind of gave me a free role and just said, like, do what you want to do when you're in that final third. Get the ball, get the crosses, dribble at players, and I think he's kind of gave me that free rein where I can go and express myself, which is good for me, definitely.
Yeah. So this season, obviously, the conditions with COVID-19 hasn't been great at all for footballers at all, but particularly for you with Partick Thistle, bottom of the league, which led to relegation now. How devastating is that for you?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, to be fair. The whole situation it's incredible the way that everything's happened. I wasn't expecting it for this to happen. The club have been fantastic from day one with the whole situation. They kept us in the loop. We're on a WhatsApp group. We've had Zoom calls every couple of weeks. They kind of let us know what's going on. They managed to keep all the boys on furlough. I was out of contract as of May. So they've kept me on furlough, which is fantastic. There's a lot of clubs in Scotland that kind of just let the players go. So it's a situation for us. Obviously, we still don't know the answers. The court cases going ahead, which it's obviously positive for the club. But for the club to be relegated into League One, it's a hard one to take. It's a massive club, and obviously going from the Premiership to the Championship was a big enough blow for it. But to be going down another league is just it's criminal, and we shouldn't be in that position, to be honest. The players that we've got in that team, the players that we've had throughout the season, we should be at the top half of the table. And that was when I re-signed in the summer. That was the plan. Like, I didn't think that we were going to go and win the league, and that's under Gary Caldwell, I just thought that would happen. But after the Betfred games, we never managed to pick up the pace, and obviously when you're losing two games in the bounds, it's never going to work. So it's been frustrating. Don't get me wrong, but I think I've got 4 goals last season. I think I've got 11 assists. I still managed to get the most assists in the team, and I feel fit. I felt great. I've looked after myself well. I'm just dying to get going again, but we'll just have to wait and see what comes of it, see what comes of the court case and how everything goes. But it is frustrating because I've never been this long without a football in my life, and it is surreal. It still doesn't feel normal.
What was your opinion on the league reconstruction? Should it have happened, or do you think no?
Yeah, I think it was the perfect opportunity. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people are going to think because I'm at Partick Thistle, I'm going to say yes, but I just think I've played in Scotland long enough to know the leagues and to know the teams and players, and I just think it was the right time to do it. It came at the right time, and I just think for Scottish football to go forward, I think it needs something new. It needs a wee boost. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised it didn't go ahead. I'm surprised that teams didn't want. Don't get me wrong. I understand that clubs have got to be selfish and look after themselves, but I think going forward with Scottish football, I think it was only right to do. I don't think they should have. It shouldn't have been a voting system. I think someone should have made the decision higher up, and made the decision for everyone instead of putting it on the teams and the clubs to make these decisions. I think that would have happened in England, to be honest. But yeah, I think reconstruction would have boosted everyone in Scotland and made it a more enjoyable experience, to be honest.
Yeah. Final couple of questions, Joe. When you eventually retire from football, do you plan to get into coaching or management at all?
Yeah, I think it's obviously something I'll be definitely looking at. I've done my B licence, I've done my A licence a couple of years ago, and I've just finished an applied management degree as well. I've just finished that last month. So I was on a course there with 15 professionals, like top boys, so like the likes of Davy Gray and McGregor, Whittaker, Marvin Bartley, Christoph Berra, Stephen Anderson, Dougie Emery, Mark Kerr. We were all on a course last season, which was fantastic, and I felt I've learnt so much about being an actual manager. Obviously, I know the coaching side of things. I know how to put on a drill, but this was kind of learning how to be a manager and how to manage people and how to work with chairmen and boards and supporters and everything else. And I felt like in the space of 12 months, I've learnt a lot. So yeah, to be honest, football's all I know. It's all I've done since I left school. So I'd like to think that I've got a future in either coaching or becoming a manager.
So if you do get into coaching or management, or even before you retire as a player, it's a question I've been asked to ask you quite a lot. Would you be open to return to Dunfermline as a coach, manager, or even a player in the future?
100%. I think everyone knows that answer before I even answer it, because everyone knows that Dunfermline's my home now. Love nothing more to return to East End Park one day. I still feel there's unfinished business there, even though I didn't get a chance to, get my send off the supporters last time. I just feel that with everything that happened, it's a club that's close to my heart. Everyone knows that the love I've got for the club, and I've had some great times there. And you never know. As you say, it could be a player, it could be a coach, it could be a manager, but I would like to think in the future that I'd be back at East End Park one day.
I think that a lot of folk will like to hear that. Right.
That's good. I like that. Appreciate that.
Thank you for your time, Joe. It's much appreciated.
That's okay. It was good to catch up with you, pal.
Right. Thank you for watching, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, Joe.
Brilliant. Well done.